asked in bewilderment. The protagonist said that thanks to him, it was much easier to find their lair. The protagonist approached the orc from behind, after which he looked at him from the other side, saying that in general they caught that giant ant together. The protagonist and the orc looked at the ant's head in surprise. Lloyd looked at Harach with a wide smile, saying that he was an unrivaled warrior, and Lloyd too. Harach looked at the hero in confusion, saying about an unrivaled warrior. The hero narrowed his eyes sarcastically, asking him about 120 orcs. The orc looked at the protagonist with confidence, clenching his hand into a fist, noting that they were his. White clouds floated above the mountains. A week later, there were tents among the mountains, the village of the Steel Sand Orc tribe. Lloyd noted that this was how their long journey in search of labor ended. Akuch sat on the throne, looking at you with a serious look. He told Lloyd that he was very sorry, but they would not be able to fulfill his request. The protagonist looked at the orc in shock, wondering why he was backing out. The protagonist smiled in confusion, pressing his hand to his chest. He turned to the great chief of the Steel Sand tribe, Akuch, asking if he could know the reason for his refusal. The chief closed his eyes, saying that they were not strong enough to complete this task, and in order to maintain their strength, they needed to eat meat, and if they did not hunt, their muscles would weaken. Behind the chieftain stood a sad Harach. Akuch said that losing their strength would lead to the fall of the tribe, and they could not reduce the number of warriors since they were needed for hunting. The protagonist asked that they hunt every day. Akuch looked down at the protagonist, saying that this was true, and their muscles would weaken if they did not eat meat. The protagonist thought that he was an idiot with his muscles. Xavier looked at the thoughtful protagonist, saying that for them, proteins and muscles are the meaning of life, and it would be better to abandon this idea. Lloyd slightly opened his mouth, saying that he heard them. Then he spread his arms out to the sides, asking that if the meat did not spoil for several days, then they would not have to hunt constantly, and they could lend them workers. The chieftain nodded his head, saying that everything was right and they wanted to pay him back, but when it came to their strength, Lloyd moved his leg to the side